Hello, my dear dreamers. It's Fox. Welcome back to another evening of shared stories and peaceful journeys. Tonight, we're stepping through the ancient doors of Hogwarts Castle on a particularly magical winter's evening, where the snow falls thick and silent, blanketing the grounds in pristine white. I know many of you have been asking for more cozy Harry Potter content, something to help you drift off peacefully while imagining yourself wandering those familiar corridors. So here we are, ready to explore the castle as it settles into the quiet embrace of a snowy December night. We'll walk through empty hallways lit by flickering torches, peek into common rooms where fires crackle softly, and discover the gentle magic that happens when Hogwarts wraps itself in winter's blanket. If you'd like to support these peaceful journeys and help me create more content like this, you can find my Patreon linked in the description below. Your support means the world and helps keep these magical escapes coming. But for now, pull your warmest blanket close, settle into your most comfortable spot, and let's begin our gentle exploration of Hogwarts on this snowy evening. The great oak doors of Hogwarts Castle creak softly as they swing open before you, releasing a breath of warm, honey-scented air into the crisp winter night. Snowflakes dance and swirl in the golden light that spills from the entrance hall, each delicate crystal catching the glow of 100 floating candles before melting gently on your cheeks. You step across the threshold, your footsteps muffled by the thick stone floors that have welcomed countless students over the centuries. The entrance hall stretches before you, its soaring ceiling disappearing into shadows above, while the marble staircase curves gracefully upward, its banister worn smooth by thousands of eager hands. Tonight, the castle feels different, quieter, more intimate. The usual bustle of students has given way to a peaceful hush, broken only by the occasional pop and hiss of torches in their iron brackets along the walls. It's as if Hogwarts itself has settled in for a long winter's rest, drawing its ancient magic close like a comfortable shore. You pause for a moment, breathing in the familiar scents of the castle. There's the faint aroma of parchment and ink from countless lessons, the lingering sweetness of treacle tart from dinner, and underneath it all, something indefinably magical, like starlight distilled into air or the essence of dreams made tangible. The Great Hall beckons to your right, its massive doors standing slightly ajar. Through the gap, you catch a glimpse of the enchanted ceiling, tonight reflecting the storm outside. Heavy clouds drift across a midnight sky, occasionally parting to reveal brilliant stars that seem close enough to pluck from the heavens. Snow continues to fall from this magical sky, but as always, the flakes vanish just before they reach the empty tables below. You decide to wander deeper into the castle, drawn by the warm glow emanating from the corridors beyond. Your footsteps echo softly as you make your way past familiar portraits, many of their inhabitants fast asleep in their frames. Sir Cadogan snores gently in his armour, his sword drooping from one gauntleted hand, while in a nearby frame, a group of medieval monks have dozed off over their illuminated manuscripts, quills still clutched in their fingers. The fat lady's portrait is empty. She must be visiting friends in other paintings, as she often does during the quiet evening hours. Her pink silk dress lies draped over her chair, and a half-empty goblet sits on the small table beside her, catching the torchlight like liquid amber. As you continue your gentle exploration, you notice how the castle's magic seems more pronounced in the stillness. Suits of armor shift slightly as you pass, not in any threatening way, but as if acknowledging your presence with sleepy nods. Tapestries rustle without any breeze, their woven figures seeming to breathe in rhythm with the castle itself. You find yourself drawn toward the moving staircases, though tonight they seem content to remain still, as if even they are reluctant to disturb the peaceful atmosphere. The stone steps are worn smooth in the center from centuries of use, and you can almost feel the history beneath your feet. The excitement of first-year students climbing toward their new dormitories, the nervous energy of those heading to important exams, the quiet contemplation of graduates taking their final journey through these halls. The corridor leading toward the Gryffindor common room is particularly cozy tonight. Torches burn low in their brackets, casting dancing shadows on the stone walls. And you notice that someone has left a trail of what looks like golden fairy lights along the windowsills. They pulse gently with warm light, creating pools of amber glow that make the falling snow outside look like cascading stars. Through one of the tall windows, you pause to watch the grounds below. The snow has transformed Hogwarts into something from a fairy tale. The lake lies frozen and mirror smooth, its surface reflecting the castle's many lights like scattered diamonds. The whomping willow stands sentinel in the distance, its bare branches heavy with snow, finally still and peaceful in the winter air. Hagrid's hut glows warmly in the distance, smoke rising from its chimney in a steady, comforting stream. You can almost imagine the half-giant inside, perhaps brewing tea and tending to his fire while Fang sleeps contentedly on the hearthrug. The pumpkin patch nearby has been transformed into gentle mounds of white, each one perfectly sculpted by the falling snow. You decide to explore one of the castle's many side corridors, one you've never really noticed before. This passage is narrower than the main hallways, with a lower ceiling that makes it feel more intimate, almost cozy. The stones here are older, rougher, and covered with a soft patina that speaks of great age. Tapestries hang at regular intervals, their colours muted in the gentle torchlight, depicting scenes of medieval life that seem to move ever so slightly when you're not looking directly at them. At the end of this corridor, you discover a small alcove with a window seat cushioned in deep blue velvet. Someone has left a book here, a volume of magical poetry, its leather binding worn soft with age. The pages fall open to a poem about winter magic, the words seeming to shimmer slightly in the firelight from a nearby torch. Outside this particular window, the view is spectacular. You can see across the entire grounds of Hogwarts, from the Forbidden Forest's dark edge, where snow clings to the pine boughs, to the Quidditch pitch, where the goalposts stand like silent sentinels against the white landscape. The greenhouses glow faintly in the distance, their glass panels fogged with warmth, suggesting the magical plants within continue to grow and flourish despite the winter cold. As you settle into the window seat, drawing your cloak closer around you, you notice a house elf padding quietly down the corridor. The little creature carries a tray with what appears to be hot chocolate and warm biscuits, and when he sees you, his large eyes light up with pleasure. "Oh, is you needing something warm on such a cold night?" he asks in a whisper, not wanting to disturb the castle's peaceful atmosphere. Nippy has just been bringing treats to the portraits who cannot sleep in such weather. You accept a mug of the hot chocolate gratefully, and it's perfect. Rich and creamy with just a hint of cinnamon and something that might be liquid comfort itself. The warmth spreads through your hands and up your arms, chasing away any lingering chill from your winter walk. The house elf continues on his rounds, his footsteps making no sound on the stone floor, and you're left alone with your warm drink and the mesmerizing view of the snow continuing to fall. Each flake catches the light from the castle's windows as it drifts past, creating a constantly shifting curtain of silver and gold. From somewhere in the castle comes the faint sound of music, perhaps a ghost playing a melancholy tune on an invisible harp. Or maybe it's just the wind singing through the ancient stones. The melody is hauntingly beautiful, rising and falling like a lullaby, and it seems to encourage the very walls to settle deeper into their foundations. You find your eyelids growing heavy as you watch the hypnotic dance of snowflakes outside the window. The castle around you breathes with ancient contentment, its magic wrapping around you like the softest blanket. Somewhere in the distance, a clock chimes the hour, its deep bronze notes reverberating through the stone corridors before fading into peaceful silence. The book of poetry slips gently from your relaxed fingers, coming to rest on the velvet cushion beside you. Your head finds a comfortable position against the stone window frame, which somehow feels as soft as the finest pillow. The hot chocolate mug sits safely cradled in your hands, its warmth continuing to spread through your entire being. Outside, the snow continues its eternal dance, each flake a tiny messenger of peace and tranquility. The castle settles around you with small sighs and gentle creaks, the sounds of an ancient building making itself comfortable for the long winter night ahead. The torches in their brackets burn lower, casting ever softer shadows that seem to pulse in rhythm with your own steady breathing. This is Hogwarts at its most magical, not during the excitement of lessons or the drama of great events, but in these quiet moments when the castle reveals its true heart. A sanctuary of learning and wonder, a place where magic lives not just in spells and potions, but in the very stones themselves, in the love and dreams of all who have walked these halls. The warmth from the hot chocolate seems to seep into your very soul as you rest against the window frame, watching the endless cascade of snowflakes paint the world in shades of silver and pearl. Your breathing has synchronized with the gentle rhythm of the castle itself, each exhale creating a small puff of mist against the cool glass that quickly fades away. From your cozy alcove, you can hear the distant murmur of the castle's nighttime conversations. Portraits whisper softly to one another across corridors, sharing gossip and gentle observations about the weather. A suit of armor clanks quietly as it adjusts its position, settling in for the long watch ahead. Somewhere far below, you catch the faint echo of the house elves going about their evening duties, their voices no louder than the whisper of silk against stone. The magic of Hogwarts feels particularly alive tonight, humming through the ancient stones like a contented cat's purr. You can sense it in the way the torches flicker in perfect harmony, in the gentle warmth that radiates from the walls themselves, and in the almost imperceptible shimmer that dances along the edges of your vision. It's as if the castle is sharing its most intimate secrets with you, trusting you with the quiet magic that emerges only when the world is still. A soft scratching sound draws your attention, and you turn to see a small barn owl perched on the windowsill outside. Its feathers are dusted with snowflakes, and it peers at you with curious amber eyes before tucking its head beneath one wing. Even the castle's postal service seems to have settled in for the night, finding shelter wherever they can from the gentle storm. You shift slightly in your seat, and the movement causes the book beside you to fall open to a different page. The poem revealed speaks of winter dreams and magical slumber, its words seeming to glow faintly in the torchlight. The verses describe the peace that comes when snow blankets the world, muffling all harsh sounds and creating a cocoon of tranquility that allows the deepest rest. The corridor stretches away from your alcove, disappearing into shadows that seem welcoming rather than mysterious. Every few yards, a portrait hangs in peaceful slumber, their painted inhabitants lost in whatever dreams come to those who exist between the worlds of art and life. A medieval lady clutches a small bouquet of flowers that never wilt, while a distinguished wizard in elaborate robes snores gently beside a painted fireplace that crackles with eternal flames. Through another window, Further down the hall, you glimpse the astronomy tower rising into the snowy night. Its windows glow with a soft blue light, suggesting that perhaps Professor Sinistra is taking advantage of the clear patches between clouds to observe the winter constellations. The stars seem especially bright tonight, their light reflecting off the snow-covered battlements and creating a palace of silver and crystal. The sound of your own heartbeat becomes a gentle rhythm that seems to echo through the castle's corridors. It mingles with the soft whisper of settling stones, the distant sigh of wind through ancient passages, and the almost musical tinkle of snowflakes against glass. These sounds weave together into a lullaby that speaks of safety, of belonging, of finding your place in something far greater and more enduring than yourself. Your eyelids grow heavier with each passing moment, the warm weight of drowsiness settling over you like the softest cashmere blanket. The mug in your hands has cooled to the perfect temperature, no longer hot enough to startle you awake, but still warm enough to comfort. The chocolate's rich sweetness lingers on your tongue, mixed with that indefinable taste that can only be described as liquid coziness. A house elf appears at the far end of the corridor, moving with the silent grace that comes naturally to his kind. He carries a small lantern that casts dancing patterns of light and shadow on the stone walls. When he notices you in your alcove, he approaches with careful steps, his large eyes reflecting concern and kindness. "Is the young person comfortable?" he whispers, his voice no louder than the rustle of parchment. Dobbsy has brought extra cushions if they are needed, and perhaps a warming charm for the window seat. You smile and shake your head gently, indicating that everything is perfect just as it is. The house elf nods approvingly and produces a soft woolen throw from seemingly nowhere, draping it carefully over your shoulders. The fabric is impossibly soft and seems to radiate its own gentle warmth, as if it had been stored beside a fireplace for just this moment. "Sleep well," Dobbsy murmurs, before disappearing back into the shadows, his lantern's glow fading gradually until only the torches remain to light your peaceful corner of the castle. The throw settles around you like a cloud, and you find yourself sinking deeper into the velvet cushions of the window seat. Outside, the snow continues its patient work, adding layer upon layer to the magical landscape. The Forbidden Forest stands silent and majestic in the distance, its dark trees now outlined in white, creating a scene from the most beautiful winter fairy tale ever told. From somewhere deep within the castle comes the faint sound of a clock tower chiming the late hour. The bronze notes ring out across the snowy grounds, carried on the still air to every corner of Hogwarts. The sound is both grounding and ethereal, reminding you that time moves differently here, where magic dwells in every stone and wonder waits around every corner. Your breathing has slowed to match the gentle rhythm of the falling snow, each breath synchronized with the castle's own peaceful respiration. The ancient stones seem to pulse with a life of their own, sharing their accumulated warmth and wisdom with anyone lucky enough to rest within their embrace. Centuries of students have found comfort within these walls, and their contentment lingers still, adding to the atmosphere of perfect peace. The book beside you rustles slightly as a gentle breeze finds its way through some hidden passage in the castle's architecture. The pages flutter briefly before settling open to yet another poem, this one describing the magic that happens when sleep comes naturally in a place where dreams and reality intertwine. The words seem to blur slightly as your eyes grow heavy, the letters dancing together like snowflakes caught in moonlight. A portrait near your alcove stirs slightly in her frame, a young woman in medieval dress who opens painted eyes to smile at you with infinite kindness. "Rest well, dear traveller," she whispers before settling back into her painted slumber. "The castle will watch over your dreams." And indeed, you can feel Hogwarts gathering its protective magic around you. The same ancient spells that have sheltered generations of students, now extending their embrace to include you. The walls themselves seem to lean inward slightly, creating a cocoon of warmth and safety that makes the idea of anything but peaceful sleep utterly impossible. The snow outside has intensified, creating a curtain of white that softens the edges of the world beyond the windows. Each flake catches what little light remains, creating a constantly shifting display of silver and crystal that hypnotizes the eye and soothes the spirit. The storm is gentle but persistent, ensuring that this magical evening will stretch on undisturbed until dawn breaks over the transformed landscape. Your head finds its perfect resting place against the cool stone of the window frame, which seems to mold itself to your comfort like the most thoughtful pillow. The woolen throw draws closer around your shoulders of its own accord, its fibers somehow sensing exactly how much warmth you need. Your hands relax completely around the mug, the porcelain now holding just the right temperature to keep your fingers comfortable without being distracting. Through half-closed eyes, you watch the snow continue its mesmerizing performance. Each flake follows its own unique path through the darkness, spiraling and dancing on currents of air that seem choreographed by some benevolent force. The accumulation on the windowsill has grown thicker, creating small drifts that catch and hold the golden light from within the castle. A soft creaking sound echoes from somewhere deep within the walls, the kind of settling noise that old buildings make as they adjust to changes in temperature and weather. But at Hogwarts, even these ordinary sounds carry a touch of magic, as if the castle is quietly humming itself a lullaby. The stones seem to expand and contract with the rhythm of a great, contented sigh. From your alcove, you can see into another corridor through an archway, where a different set of portraits hangs in peaceful repose. A wizard in star-spangled robes clutches a telescope even in sleep, while nearby, a witch in healing robes tends to a painted garden that blooms eternal spring flowers regardless of the winter outside. Their dreams seem visible in the soft expressions on their faces, each lost in memories of lives lived centuries ago. The house elf's lantern has long since disappeared around a distant corner, but its warm influence lingers in the corridor. Small details you hadn't noticed before become apparent in the settling quiet. The way certain stones in the walls seem to pulse with their own inner light, the delicate frost patterns forming on the inside corners of the windows, the almost musical quality of the wind as it finds its way through the castle's many secret passages. Your breathing has become so slow and steady that it matches the ancient rhythm of Hogwarts itself. Each exhale creates a small cloud of mist that catches the torchlight before dissolving, while each inhale draws in air that tastes faintly of magic and possibility. The sensation is of being cradled by the castle itself, held safely within walls that have protected countless dreams over the centuries. A new sound drifts through the corridors, the faint scratching of quills on parchment from some distant office where a professor works late into the night, perhaps grading essays or preparing lessons for the term ahead. The sound is oddly comforting, a reminder that even in the deepest quiet, the work of education and discovery continues. Knowledge itself seems to flow through these halls like a gentle river, accumulating in pools of wisdom that students can draw from whenever they need. The snow outside has begun to fall more heavily, each flake now larger and more deliberate in its descent. They stick to the window glass for brief moments before sliding down in tiny avalanches, creating ever-changing patterns that tell stories without words. The world beyond Hogwarts has disappeared entirely behind this curtain of white, leaving only the castle and its grounds as the entire universe worth considering. Through the storm, you catch glimpses of the other towers and spires of the school, each one now wearing a crown of snow that makes them look like something from a fairy tale illustration. Windows glow warmly in the distance, suggesting other souls finding comfort in this magical place on this magical night. Perhaps other students unable to sleep, or ghosts sharing stories with night-dwelling portraits, or professors lost in their own scholarly pursuits. The book beside you shifts slightly as a draft finds its way through some hidden crack in the ancient masonry. Its pages flutter like the wings of sleeping birds before settling open to a passage about the deepest form of rest, the kind that comes not from mere physical exhaustion, but from finding yourself exactly where you belong. The words seem to shimmer on the page, as if they too are settling into sleep. Your shoulders relax completely against the stone wall, which continues to radiate a gentle warmth that speaks of magic woven so deeply into the castle's foundation that it has become indistinguishable from the building itself. Generations of warming charms have soaked into these stones, creating an eternal hearth that needs no fire to maintain its comfort. The wall seems to adjust its temperature to match your body's needs, never too warm, never too cool. A distant bell chimes softly from somewhere high in the castle, marking another hour's passage into the deep of night. The sound carries perfectly through the still air, each note clear and pure as crystal. As the last echo fades, it leaves behind a silence so complete that you can hear your own heartbeat, steady and calm, synchronized now with the great heart of Hogwarts itself. The torches in the corridor have burned lower, their flames now mere whispers of light that cast the gentlest shadows on the ancient stones. These shadows seem to move with purpose, creating patterns that suggest peaceful dreams made visible. They flow like water across the walls, pooling in corners and alcoves, before flowing onward through passages you cannot see. From your position in the window seat, you can observe the gradual transformation of the castle around you as it settles deeper into its nighttime state. Portraits shift slightly in their frames, finding more comfortable positions for their eternal rest. Suits of armor adjust their stance with barely audible clinks and whispers. Even the very air seems to thicken with contentment, becoming more substantial, more embracing. The mug in your hands has cooled to room temperature, but somehow this only makes it more comforting. The porcelain feels perfectly smooth against your palms, and the weight of it provides a grounding anchor to the physical world, even as your mind begins to drift into the realm between waking and sleeping. The last traces of chocolate sweetness linger on your tongue like a blessing. Outside, the barn owl has been joined by others seeking shelter from the storm. They perch along the windowsill and nearby ledges, their feathers fluffed against the cold, creating small sculptures of patience and endurance. Occasionally, one will shift position or tuck its head more firmly beneath a wing, but mostly, they simply wait, embodying the peace that comes from accepting what cannot be changed. The snow continues its relentless but gentle work, transforming Hogwarts into something even more magical than usual. Each surface that can hold snow does so gladly, creating a landscape of soft curves and gentle contours. The harsh edges of stone and timber are softened into suggestions, hints of the solid structures beneath but made somehow more approachable, more dreamlike. Your eyelids grow impossibly heavy, weighted with the accumulated peace of this perfect evening. Each blink lasts longer than the one before, and during the moments when your eyes are closed, you can feel the castle's magic more clearly. A warm presence that surrounds and supports you, like the embrace of an old friend. The boundary between yourself and Hogwarts begins to blur, as if you are becoming part of its eternal story. A new sound enters the symphony of the castle's nighttime music, the soft whisper of pages turning somewhere in the distance, perhaps a ghost reading in the library, or a portrait studying a book within their painted world. The sound is rhythmic and hypnotic, like waves lapping gently against a peaceful shore. It speaks of knowledge being absorbed, of minds at rest but still growing, of the endless cycle of learning that makes Hogwarts more than just a school. The woolen throw seems to expand around you, growing larger and softer with each breath you take. Its fibers catch and hold your body heat, creating a microclimate of perfect comfort that extends just far enough to encompass your entire being. The fabric moves with your breathing, rising and falling in perfect synchronization, as if it has learned the rhythm of your rest and chosen to match it. Through the falling snow, you catch one last glimpse of the lake, its frozen surface now completely hidden beneath a blanket of white. The ice beneath must be thick and strong, holding the weight of winter's gift while protecting the magical creatures that dwell in the depths below. Even they must feel the peace of this night, resting in their underwater world, while snow transforms the surface into something entirely new. Your consciousness begins to fade like the dying torches in the corridor, not extinguished, but simply settling into a gentler state of being. The castle continues its patient watch around you, its magic flowing through every stone and timber, ensuring that your rest will be undisturbed and your dreams filled with the wonder that comes from finding yourself exactly where magic lives. The last thing you perceive before sleep claims you completely is the sound of Hogwarts itself settling into its deepest rest. The whisper of ancient stones adjusting their positions, the soft sigh of tapestries swaying in drafts that exist only to bring comfort, and the gentle hum of magic that flows through every inch of this place like the circulation of some great benevolent heart. And as consciousness finally slips away entirely, you are held safely within walls that have sheltered dreams for 1,000 years. Your own rest becoming part of the eternal story that Hogwarts tells to itself through the long winter nights, when snow falls softly and magic settles deep into every corner of its ancient embrace. The snow has woven its spell completely now, transforming every surface within view into a masterpiece of winter artistry. From your peaceful alcove, the world beyond the windows has become a living painting, each brushstroke of white adding depth and mystery to the familiar landscape of Hogwarts. The grounds stretch endlessly beneath their blanket of snow, broken only by the gentle undulations, where garden paths wind their way between dormant flower beds, and the occasional dark silhouette of a bare tree reaching toward the clouded sky. A new warmth begins to emanate from the stones beneath you, rising through the velvet cushions with such gentleness that it seems like a natural part of the castle's breathing. The magic here runs deeper than spells or charms. It lives in the very mortar between the stones, accumulated over centuries of students who have sat in this very spot, perhaps watching snowfall just as you are now. Their contentment has soaked into the walls themselves, becoming part of the permanent atmosphere of peace that surrounds you. The house elves continue their quiet rounds somewhere in the castle's depths, their presence felt rather than seen. Occasionally, a soft clink of crockery echoes up through the floors, or the whisper of cleaning cloths against stone surfaces. Even their work seems gentler tonight, as if they too have been touched by the spell of the falling snow. Their devotion to maintaining this magical sanctuary adds another layer to the comfort that wraps around you like the softest embrace. Through an archway visible from your window seat, you catch glimpses of another corridor where suits of armor stand their eternal watch. Tonight, they seem less like guards and more like gentle protectors, their metal surfaces catching and reflecting the torchlight in patterns that pulse with the rhythm of sleeping breath. One suit shifts almost imperceptibly, adjusting its stance with a whisper of metal against metal that sounds more like a contented sigh than the clash of warfare. The book beside you continues to reveal new verses each time a draft turns its pages. The poems speak of winter magic and the deep peace that comes when the world grows quiet beneath snow's gentle weight. The words seem to float slightly above the parchment, visible but ethereal, as if they exist in the space between dream and waking. Each verse you glimpse speaks of rest, of sanctuary, of finding profound peace in places where magic and comfort intertwine. A soft scratching sound draws your attention to the window, where ice crystals have begun to form intricate patterns on the glass. These aren't the harsh geometries of ordinary frost, but delicate lacework that seems to grow with artistic intention. Each crystal formation tells its own story in a language of curves and spirals, creating a constantly evolving gallery of winter art that frames your view of the snowy grounds beyond. From somewhere far below comes the gentle creaking of the castle's ancient timbers, expanding and contracting with the changing temperature as the storm continues its work outside. These sounds have become a familiar symphony over the centuries, a wooden percussion section that accompanies the stone bass notes of settling walls and the soft melody of wind finding its way through hidden passages. Together, they create a lullaby that has soothed countless generations of students into peaceful sleep. Your breathing has synchronized completely with these castle rhythms now, each inhale and exhale perfectly timed to match the great, slow heartbeat of Hogwarts itself. The sensation is of being held within something vast and protective, something that has weathered every storm and outlasted every trouble that might disturb the peace of those within its walls. The magic here doesn't announce itself with flashes of light or dramatic gestures. It simply exists, as natural and essential as the air you breathe. The woolen throw continues its gentle work, somehow knowing exactly how to distribute its warmth to keep you perfectly comfortable. Its fibers seem alive with their own quiet magic, expanding and contracting to maintain the ideal temperature around your body. The fabric moves so subtly that you're barely aware of its adjustments, only of the continuous comfort it provides as you settle deeper into your peaceful rest. Through the swirling snow, you can make out the distant glow of other windows throughout the castle, each one representing another pocket of warmth and safety within Hogwarts' protective embrace. Some windows flicker with the light of fires burning in hearths. Others glow with the steady illumination of magical lamps or candles that never burn down. Each light speaks of life continuing peacefully within the castle, of others finding their own forms of comfort on this magical winter night. A portrait near your alcove stirs gently in her frame. A lady in Tudor dress who opens painted eyes to observe the falling snow with wonder that seems as fresh as if she were seeing winter for the first time. She catches sight of you in your window seat and offers a smile of such warmth and understanding that it feels like a blessing. The snow remembers every winter it has ever fallen, she whispers softly before settling back into her painted dreams. Her words seem to hang in the air around you, carrying a truth that resonates in your bones. This snow has indeed fallen on Hogwarts for centuries, each flake part of an endless cycle of seasons that the castle has witnessed and welcomed. You are connected now to every student who has ever watched winter transform these grounds, every dreamer who has found peace in these corridors, every soul who has discovered that magic lives not just in spells and potions, but in moments of perfect stillness. The mug in your hands has become weightless, or perhaps your hands have become so relaxed that you no longer notice its presence. The porcelain seems to have absorbed some of the castle's own magic, radiating a gentle warmth that extends up your arms and into your chest. The last traces of chocolate flavor have long since faded, replaced by something that tastes like contentment itself, sweet and comforting in a way that transcends ordinary sensation. A new layer of sound joins the castle's nighttime symphony. The soft patter of snow against the windows, each flake striking the glass with a gentleness that adds percussion to the melody of settling stones and creaking timbers. The rhythm is hypnotic and ever-changing, sometimes quickening as the wind gusts, sometimes slowing to an almost meditative pace. It's the sound of winter claiming the world outside, while you remain safe and warm within walls that have protected dreamers for 1,000 years. Your eyelids grow heavier with each snowflake that passes the window, each breath that matches the castle's own peaceful respiration. The boundary between your own consciousness and the awareness that seems to permeate Hogwarts itself continues to blur, as if the castle is gently drawing you into its own ancient dreams. You can feel the accumulated contentment of centuries soaking into your bones, becoming part of your own sense of peace. The torches in the corridor burn lower still, their flames now mere whispers of golden light that cast shadows so soft they seem more like suggestions than actual darkness. These gentle shadows move with a life of their own, flowing across the walls like slow water, pooling in corners and alcoves before continuing their endless, peaceful migration through passages you cannot see. They carry with them the dreams of everyone who has ever found rest within these walls. From deep within the castle comes a sound you hadn't noticed before, the gentle hum of magic itself, flowing through the ancient stones like sap through the trunk of a great tree. It's barely audible, more felt than heard, a vibration that seems to originate from the very foundations of Hogwarts and rise through every floor and wall until it encompasses the entire structure in a web of protective enchantment. This is the true heartbeat of the castle, the source of all the smaller magics that make it a sanctuary. The snow outside continues its patient artistry, adding detail upon detail to the transformed landscape. Garden statues have become abstract sculptures draped in white, their original form suggested but not defined by the gentle curves of accumulated snow. Pathways have disappeared entirely, leaving only smooth expanses that invite the imagination to trace new routes through a world made entirely of possibility. A house elf materializes briefly at the far end of the corridor, moving with such fluid grace that he seems more like a shadow than a physical being. He pauses to adjust a tapestry that had shifted slightly in some unfelt breeze, his touch so gentle that the fabric barely moves. When he notices you in your alcove, he presses one finger to his lips in a gesture of shared conspiracy. You are both guardians of the castle's peace now, protectors of this perfect moment of stillness. The book beside you settles open to its final page, where a single verse speaks of the deepest form of rest, the kind that comes not from exhaustion, but from finding yourself exactly where your soul recognizes as home. The words seem to glow with their own inner light, pulsing gently with the rhythm of your slowing heartbeat. As you read, the letters begin to blur together, not from any failing of your vision, but because the meaning has transcended the need for individual words. Your head finds its final resting position against the stone window frame, which has somehow become as soft and yielding as the finest pillow. The ancient masonry seems to mold itself to your comfort, its surface warming to match your body temperature perfectly. Centuries of magic have soaked so deeply into these stones that they respond to your needs without any conscious direction, becoming whatever they need to be to ensure your complete peace. The woolen throw expands one final time, growing to encompass not just your physical form, but the very essence of your being. Its warmth becomes indistinguishable from your own body heat, creating a cocoon of comfort so complete that you are no longer aware of where the blanket ends and you begin. The fabric seems to pulse with life, breathing in perfect synchronization with your own increasingly slow and steady respiration. Through the snow-obscured windows, the world beyond Hogwarts has ceased to exist. There is only the castle now, only this moment, only the perfect peace that comes from finding yourself cradled within walls that have held and protected dreams for longer than memory can reach. The storm outside is no longer a force of nature, but a lullaby made manifest, each snowflake a note in an endless song of comfort and safety. Your consciousness begins its final gentle descent into the realm of dreams, carried along by the accumulated magic of Hogwarts itself. The castle's ancient awareness embraces your fading thoughts, weaving them into the great tapestry of peace that has been growing within these walls for centuries. Your dreams will become part of Hogwarts' own dreams now, adding your voice to the chorus of contentment that sings eternally through every stone and beam. The last thing you perceive before sleep claims you completely is the sensation of being held, not by blankets or cushions or even by the castle itself, but by something far greater and more enduring. You are being held by the love that built this place, by the devotion of every teacher who has shared knowledge within these walls, by the wonder of every student who has discovered magic here, by the accumulated joy of 1,000 years of learning and growing and dreaming. And as your final waking breath becomes indistinguishable from the gentle respiration of Hogwarts itself, you become part of the eternal story that the castle tells to the winter night, a story of sanctuary and safety, of magic that lives not in grand gestures, but in moments of perfect peace, of the deep contentment that comes from finding yourself exactly where you belong. In a world where wonder and comfort are woven together like threads in the softest, warmest blanket ever created. The snow continues to fall outside the windows, each flake carrying with it the promise of deeper rest, sweeter dreams, and the absolute certainty that you are safe within walls that have protected sleepers for centuries, and will continue to do so for centuries yet to come. The silence that follows is deeper than mere absence of sound. It's the profound quiet that comes when the world holds its breath in reverence for something sacred. Your dreams begin to form in the space between sleeping and waking, painted in shades of silver and gold that mirror the snow-touched castle around you. These are not ordinary dreams, but the kind that bloom only in places where magic has taken root so deeply that it transforms even unconscious thought into something luminous. In your dream, you find yourself walking through corridors of Hogwarts that exist only in sleep, passages that stretch beyond the physical boundaries of stone and mortar into realms of pure possibility. The walls here are made of crystallized starlight, and your footsteps leave trails of warm golden sparks that fade gently behind you like the memory of laughter. Every door you pass opens onto scenes of impossible beauty, libraries where books write themselves, gardens where flowers sing in harmony with the wind, towers that spiral up into clouds made of liquid moonlight. But even in dreams, the comfort of your window seat calls to you, and you find yourself returning again and again to that perfect alcove where reality and reverie intertwine. The snow continues its endless dance outside dream windows that show not just the grounds of Hogwarts as they are, but as they have been and will be. Centuries of winters layered like transparent veils, each one adding its own beauty to the eternal tapestry of the castle's seasons. A ghostly figure drifts through your dreams, though whether it's one of Hogwarts' actual spirits or a creation of your sleeping mind, you cannot say. She moves with the fluid grace of mist given form, her robes trailing behind her like captured moonbeams. When she speaks, her voice carries the accumulated wisdom of ages, telling you stories of other dreamers who have found rest in this very spot. Each one adding their piece to the growing reservoir of tranquility that flows through these ancient stones. The house elves appear in your dreams as well, but here they are revealed in their true nature, not as servants, but as guardians of comfort itself, weaving spells of contentment with their very presence. They tend invisible fires that burn with warmth rather than flame, and their gentle hands smooth away any trace of worry or care that might disturb your rest. In the logic of dreams, you understand that they have been watching over sleepers for centuries, their magic ensuring that all who rest within Hogwarts do so in perfect peace. Time moves differently in this dreaming space, flowing like honey through the corridors of your sleeping mind. Hours might pass in moments, or moments might stretch into hours. It doesn't matter here, where the only measurement that has meaning is the depth of your contentment. The castle's magic has wrapped around your dreams like a protective shell, ensuring that nothing harsh or jarring can penetrate the cocoon of peace you found. Through dream windows, you watch the snow continue its work, with an artistry that surpasses anything conscious minds could conceive. Each flake becomes a tiny artist, painting delicate masterpieces on every surface it touches. The accumulated snow begins to glow with its own inner light, transforming the grounds into a landscape of gentle luminescence, where shadows are soft suggestions and every surface gleams with captured starlight. The book beside you in the dream realm reveals pages filled not with words, but with pure meaning, concepts and emotions that flow directly into your understanding without need for language. You absorb stories of winter magic that spans centuries, tales of students who found solace in snow-covered corridors, and legends of the deep magic that awakens only when the castle is wrapped in winter's embrace. Each page turns itself at the perfect moment, revealing exactly what your dreaming mind needs to see. Your dream self discovers new alcoves and hidden chambers throughout the castle, each one perfectly arranged for peaceful contemplation. In one, cushions made of compressed clouds provide seating beside a window that shows the aurora borealis dancing above the castle towers. In another, walls of living crystal hum with melodies that speak directly to the soul, creating music that exists only in the space between heartbeats. The portraits in your dreams step down from their frames to walk beside you through these magical corridors, sharing stories of their painted lives and the countless students they've watched grow and learn within these walls. Their voices blend into a chorus of memory and wisdom, creating a soundtrack of belonging that follows you wherever you wander in this sleeping sanctuary. Even the suits of armor come alive in dreams, removing their helmets to reveal faces kind and worn with centuries of faithful service. They speak in voices like distant thunder about their duty to protect not just the castle, but the dreams of all who sleep within it. Their presence is a comfort rather than intimidation, guardians whose strength is devoted entirely to preserving the peace you found. The magic of Hogwarts flows more visibly in dreams, appearing as streams of golden light that wind through every corridor and chamber. You can see how this magic connects everything: stones to tapestries, portraits to people, past to present to future. It's a vast web of enchantment that holds the castle together, not just physically, but spiritually, creating a sanctuary where peace can take root and flourish. In the depths of your dream, you discover the true heart of Hogwarts, a chamber that exists beyond physical space, where all the love and dedication that built this place has crystallized into something tangible. Here, the accumulated dreams of every student who ever found peace within these walls float like gentle clouds, each one contributing its own note to the symphony of contentment that resonates through every stone. The founders themselves appear in this sacred space, not as the distant historical figures from textbooks, but as the living embodiments of their ideals. They tend this garden of dreams with infinite care, ensuring that each new addition strengthens the whole. Their presence is a blessing, a confirmation that your own peace has become part of something eternal and beautiful. As your dream deepens, the boundaries between yourself and Hogwarts dissolve entirely. You become aware of every stone settling into place, every timber adjusting to the winter cold, every magical creature finding shelter in the grounds below. Your consciousness expands to encompass the entire castle, feeling the contentment of every sleeping portrait, every dozing ghost, every house elf pausing in their work to appreciate the beauty of the snow-covered world. The storm outside your dream windows begins to ease, though the snow continues to fall with gentle persistence. Each flake now carries with it a small piece of your own peace, spreading the tranquility you found throughout the magical landscape. The very air seems to thicken with contentment, becoming something you can almost touch, something that wraps around you like the softest silk. Through the gradually clearing sky, stars begin to appear between the clouds, their light reflecting off the snow-covered grounds in patterns that spell out words of comfort in languages that exist only in dreams. The constellations themselves seem to rearrange into more beautiful configurations, as if the universe itself is adjusting to honor the peace that has settled over Hogwarts this night. Your dreaming mind becomes aware of other dreamers throughout the castle, students lost in their own peaceful slumber, each one wrapped in the same protective magic that surrounds you. Their dreams flow together, like streams joining a great river, creating a shared experience of perfect rest that strengthens with each sleeping breath. You are not alone in your peace. You are part of a community of dreamers that spans centuries. The house elf who brought you the woolen throw appears once more in your dreams, but here his true nature is revealed. He is not just a helper, but a weaver of dreams themselves, his magic ensuring that all who rest within Hogwarts do so with visions of beauty and wonder. His smile carries the warmth of 1,000 hearth fires, and his blessing settles over your dreams like morning dew on flower petals. As the deepest part of night approaches in both dream and waking worlds, your consciousness settles into a state of perfect suspension between sleep and meditation. You exist in a space where rest becomes a form of worship, where peaceful breathing becomes prayer, where the simple act of being comfortable becomes a celebration of all the magic that makes such comfort possible. The snow outside has created a world of such pristine beauty that even your dreams cannot improve upon it. Every surface gleams with captured light. Every shadow holds the promise of mystery and wonder. The familiar landmarks of Hogwarts have been transformed into something from the most beautiful fairy tale ever conceived. And you are both observer and participant in this magical transformation. In the final depths of your dreaming, you discover that you have become a story yourself, a tale that Hogwarts tells to itself about the perfect peace that can be found within its walls. Your contentment becomes part of the castle's own memory, adding to the vast collection of peaceful moments that have accumulated here over the centuries. You are both dreamer and dream, both seeker and sanctuary. The last coherent thought that passes through your sleeping mind is a recognition of profound gratitude, not just for the comfort you found, but for being allowed to become part of something so much larger and more enduring than yourself. Your dreams merge completely with the dreams of Hogwarts itself, creating a perfect unity of peace that will last until the first light of dawn begins to paint the snow-covered grounds in shades of rose and gold. And in that final moment, before consciousness fades entirely into the deepest, most restorative sleep, you feel the ancient castle settling around you like a contented cat, its magic purring through every stone and beam, ensuring that your rest will be undisturbed and your dreams filled with all the wonder that exists when snow falls softly on a place where magic lives in every breath of winter air. The storm continues its gentle work outside, but within the walls of Hogwarts, all is peace, all is warmth, all is exactly as it should be in a world where comfort and magic have learned to dance together in perfect harmony. Your dreams become part of the eternal winter song that the castle sings to itself through the long, peaceful nights, when snow transforms the world into something closer to heaven than earth. The deepest magic of Hogwarts reveals itself in the hours before dawn, when the castle exists in that liminal space between night and morning, between dream and waking. Your consciousness drifts in this ethereal realm, cradled by enchantments that have grown stronger with each passing century, fed by the peaceful slumber of countless students who have found sanctuary within these ancient walls. From your window seat, even in the depths of sleep, you remain connected to the gentle transformation happening outside. The snowfall has evolved from the earlier storm into something more deliberate, more artistic. Each flake now falls with purposeful grace, as if guided by invisible hands that know exactly where each crystal of ice should rest to create the most beautiful possible tableau. The house elves move through the castle's depths like benevolent spirits, their work continuing even as the world sleeps. They understand that true comfort requires constant, invisible attention, a cushion fluffed here, a draught sealed there, a warming charm renewed before anyone could notice it fading. Their magic works in harmony with your own peaceful breathing, ensuring that every element of your rest remains perfectly calibrated to your deepest needs. A new presence makes itself known in the corridor. Nearly headless, Nick drifts past your alcove with unusual quietude, his usual cheerful chatter replaced by a respectful silence that acknowledges the sacred nature of the castle's nighttime peace. Even the ghosts of Hogwarts understand that some moments are too precious to disturb with words, too perfect to ornament with anything but reverent observation. The ancient stones beneath you continue their gentle work, each one holding centuries of accumulated warmth from countless fires, countless spells of comfort, countless moments when students have found exactly the peace you're experiencing now. This warmth rises through the castle's bones like sap through a great tree, carrying with it the essence of every peaceful night that has ever passed within these walls. Through the frost-painted windows, you can observe how the snow has begun to interact with the castle's own magic. where warming charms have been cast on windowsills and door frames. The snow melts and refreezes in delicate patterns that seem to tell stories in a language of ice and crystal. These formations catch the last light from the dying torches and transform it into something that resembles captured starlight, creating a gallery of winter art that exists for this night alone. The book beside you shifts once more, its pages settling open to reveal not words but images that form themselves from the interplay of shadow and torchlight on the parchment. You see scenes of other winter nights at Hogwarts, students from centuries past, finding their own moments of perfect peace, each one adding their contentment to the great reservoir of tranquility that flows through the castle like an underground river. Your breathing has synchronized so completely with the castle's own rhythm that you've become part of its fundamental harmony. Each breath you take draws in air that has been blessed by passage through corridors where knowledge has been shared for 1,000 years, where discoveries have been made and dreams have taken flight. Each breath you release carries with it a small portion of your own peace, adding to the atmosphere of sanctuary that surrounds every sleeping soul within these walls. The woolen throw continues its miraculous work, somehow anticipating your body's needs before you're even aware of them yourself. Its fibers seem to contain their own gentle intelligence, expanding when you need more coverage, contracting when too much warmth might disturb your rest. The magic woven into its very threads responds not to conscious commands, but to the deeper wisdom of your sleeping form. A soft chiming sound drifts through the castle, not from any clock or bell, but from the harmonious vibration of the building itself as it settles into the deepest part of the night. The stones sing together in frequencies too low for ordinary hearing, creating a symphony that resonates in your bones and synchronizes your heartbeat with the ancient pulse of Hogwarts itself. Through a gap in the swirling snow, you catch sight of the lake once more. Its frozen surface has become a mirror for the sky, reflecting not the clouds above, but something deeper. The accumulated dreams of everyone who has ever gazed upon its waters and found peace. The ice holds these visions like captured light, creating a repository of serenity that adds its own influence to the magical atmosphere surrounding you. The portraits in the corridor have entered their deepest sleep now, their painted forms relaxed in ways that suggest complete trust in the castle's protection. Their dreams seem to leap gently from their frames, mixing with the air in the hallway and creating an atmosphere thick with the comfort of centuries. Even in sleep, they contribute to the web of peace that holds you so gently in its embrace. A house elf appears briefly at the far end of the corridor, not Dobsy this time, but another of his kind, carrying what appears to be a small pot of something that steams gently in the cold air. The aroma that reaches you is indescribable, like liquid comfort itself, a scent that bypasses your conscious mind and speaks directly to the parts of your soul that remember what perfect safety feels like. The creature notices your peaceful form and approaches with steps so soft they make no sound at all. Without waking you, he places the small pot on a nearby ledge where its gentle warmth can add to your comfort. The steam that rises from it carries with it a magic that encourages the deepest, most restorative sleep, the kind that heals not just physical tiredness, but spiritual weariness as well. The snow outside has reached that perfect depth where it transforms everything it touches into abstract art. Garden benches become gentle curves of white. Fountain statues become mysterious shapes that could be anything the imagination desires. The familiar grounds of Hogwarts have become a landscape of pure possibility, where every form suggests magic and every shadow holds the promise of wonder. From somewhere deep in the castle comes a sound you recognize but have never truly heard before. the breathing of Hogwarts itself. Not the settling of stones or the creaking of timbers, but the actual respiration of a living entity that has grown conscious over the centuries of housing so much learning and love. The castle breathes with the slow, steady rhythm of something ancient and wise, and your own breathing has learned to match this fundamental pulse. The mug in your hands has become weightless, or perhaps your hands have become so relaxed that they no longer register its presence. The porcelain seems to exist in that perfect temperature between warm and cool, requiring no adjustment or attention. It has become an extension of your own being, as natural and unconsidered as your own heartbeat. A new layer of magic begins to manifest in the corridor around you. The very air seems to thicken with enchantment, becoming more substantial, more embracing. You can feel it wrapping around you like the finest silk, adding another layer of protection to the cocoon of comfort that already surrounds your resting form. This is the castle's deepest magic, the kind that emerges only in the profound quiet of winter nights, when peace has settled into every corner and crevice. Through the window, you can see that the storm has finally begun to exhaust itself. The snowfall continues, but each flake now falls with deliberate purpose rather than the urgent intensity of the earlier evening. They seem to know that their work is nearly complete, that they have succeeded in transforming Hogwarts into the winter palace it was always meant to become. The torches in the corridor burn lower still, their flames now barely more than whispers of light that cast no harsh shadows. In their gentle glow, the stone walls seem to pulse with their own inner radiance, as if centuries of magic have finally saturated every grain of rock and mortar with luminous peace. The castle has become a lantern of comfort, glowing softly in the winter darkness. Your consciousness drifts deeper into that space between sleeping and dreaming, where thoughts become as soft and formless as the falling snow outside. The boundary between your own awareness and the greater consciousness of Hogwarts continues to dissolve, until you can no longer tell where your peace ends and the castle's begins. You have become part of its eternal story of sanctuary and safety. The book beside you closes itself with a whisper of pages settling into place, its work complete. It has shared all the comfort it contained, adding its own small magic to the symphony of peace that surrounds you. In the morning, when someone else discovers this alcove, they will find the book open to exactly the page they need to see, continuing its mission of bringing solace to weary souls. A final house elf appears in the corridor, this one ancient even by the standards of his kind. His movements are slower, but somehow more graceful, each gesture weighted with the wisdom of centuries spent in service to comfort itself. He surveys your peaceful form with eyes that have seen countless students find rest in this very spot, and his expression carries the satisfaction of duty perfectly fulfilled. With infinite care, he adjusts the woolen throw one final time, smoothing away an imaginary wrinkle and ensuring that its warmth distribution is absolutely perfect. His touch carries with it the blessing of generations of house elves who have devoted their lives to creating sanctuary for others. As he fades back into the shadows, his presence leaves behind a sense of being watched over by benevolent forces that ask nothing in return but the privilege of ensuring your perfect rest. The snow outside has reached its ideal accumulation, deep enough to transform the landscape, but not so deep as to burden the ancient trees or stress the castle's infrastructure. Every measurement is perfect, every detail precisely calibrated to create the most beautiful possible winter scene. The magic of Hogwarts extends even to the weather. ensuring that nature itself contributes to the atmosphere of peace and wonder. Your final waking thoughts dissolve like snowflakes on warm stone, leaving behind only the pure experience of being held safely within walls that have protected dreamers for longer than human memory can reach. The distinction between your own consciousness and the greater awareness of Hogwarts fades completely until you become part of the castle's own dreaming, your peace adding to the vast collection of contentment that has accumulated here over the centuries. The last sensation you register before sleep claims you entirely is the feeling of being welcomed home, not to a place you've known before, but to a state of being you've always been searching for without knowing it existed. Hogwarts embraces your sleeping form with the tenderness of a guardian who has waited centuries for you to find your way to this perfect moment of rest. And as your consciousness fades into the deepest, most restorative sleep, the castle settles around you with a sigh of satisfaction that echoes through every stone and timber. The magic here recognizes that another soul has found peace within its walls. Another dreamer has discovered the sanctuary that Hogwarts offers to all who need it most. Your rest becomes part of the eternal story that the castle tells to itself through the long winter nights, a story of safety and comfort that grows richer with each sleeping breath. The snow continues to fall outside, but within the ancient walls of Hogwarts, all is warmth, all is peace. All is exactly as it should be when magic and comfort dance together in perfect harmony through the sacred hours before dawn, breaks over a world transformed by winter's gentle touch. In the deepest hours before dawn, when even the ghosts have found their quiet corners for contemplation, a profound stillness settles over every corridor and chamber of Hogwarts. The castle exists now in that sacred space between night and morning, where time moves like honey through ancient passages, and every breath carries the weight of centuries of accumulated peace. Your consciousness floats in the gentlest current of half-sleep, where thoughts drift like the snow outside your window, soft, purposeless, beautiful in their very lack of direction. The distinction between dreaming and waking has become meaningless here. In this alcove, where comfort has taken on the substance of magic itself, where rest has become a form of prayer offered to the ancient stones that hold you so tenderly. The house elf's steaming pot continues its quiet work, releasing wisps of something that smells like childhood memories and forgotten lullabies. The aroma weaves itself into the air around you, becoming part of the very atmosphere you breathe. Each inhalation carries with it the essence of every peaceful night that has ever graced these halls. Every moment when a weary soul has found exactly the sanctuary they needed most. Through the frost-painted windows, you can observe how the pre-dawn light has begun to touch the edges of the world, not yet ready to announce the morning, but gently preparing the snow-covered landscape for the transition from night's embrace to day's gentle awakening. The light is pearl-soft and hesitant, as if it too understands the sacred nature of these quiet hours and refuses to disturb them with anything harsh or sudden. A new presence makes itself known in the corridor. Professor McGonagall, in her cat form, padding silently across the stone floors with the fluid grace that comes so naturally to her transformed state. She pauses near your alcove, her feline eyes reflecting the dying torchlight as she observes your peaceful rest with the satisfaction of a guardian whose charges are safe and content. Her purr is barely audible, a gentle rumble that adds another layer of comfort to the symphony of peace surrounding you. The ancient tabby settles herself on a nearby windowsill, becoming a living statue of contentment as she keeps her own quiet vigil over the castle's sleeping inhabitants. Her presence is both protection and blessing, a reminder that even the most formidable guardians of Hogwarts understand that true strength sometimes lies in simply watching over those who rest. The woolen throw seems to have developed its own consciousness, responding not just to your body's temperature, but to the rhythm of your dreams themselves. When your sleeping mind wanders to warmer places, the fabric loosens slightly, allowing gentle air to circulate. When your dreams carry you to cooler realms, it draws closer, creating perfect insulation against any chill that might disturb your rest. From somewhere deep within the castle's foundation comes a sound like distant singing, though whether it originates from the stones themselves or from some deeper magic that flows beneath Hogwarts like an underground river, you cannot say. The melody is wordless, but full of meaning, speaking of home and safety and the profound peace that comes from finding yourself exactly where you belong, in a universe vast with possibility. The portraits in the corridor have entered their deepest sleep now, their painted forms so relaxed they seem almost to breathe. Their dreams leak gently from their frames, mixing with the castle's own dreaming consciousness to create an atmosphere thick with the comfort of ages. Even Sir Cadogan has found peace, his usual bluster replaced by the soft snores of a warrior finally at rest. A gentle draft stirs the pages of the book beside you one final time, revealing not words, but pure emotion made visible. Contentment flowing across the parchment like liquid gold, peace settling into every fibre of the paper like morning dew on flower petals. The book has become more than mere text. It has transformed into a repository of every peaceful moment that has ever been experienced in this very spot. The mug in your hands has achieved that perfect state of temperature that requires no conscious adjustment, no awareness of its presence. It exists in harmony with your body's own warmth, becoming an extension of your being rather than a separate object. The last traces of chocolate have long since faded, replaced by something that tastes like liquid tranquility, sweet with the essence of dreams fulfilled and wishes granted. Through the gradually clearing sky, the first stars of morning begin to appear. Not the brilliant points of full darkness, but the gentle pearls that emerge in the softening light before dawn. They seem closer somehow, as if the snow-covered world has risen to meet them, creating a realm where earth and heaven exist in perfect harmony. Each star pulses with its own quiet rhythm, adding to the celestial lullaby that has been playing softly throughout this magical night. The castle's breathing has slowed even further, each inhalation and exhalation now measured in minutes rather than seconds. Hogwarts rests in the deepest part of its own sleep cycle, when the magic that flows through every stone and beam settles into its most peaceful configuration. The very air seems to thicken with enchantment, becoming something you can almost touch, something that wraps around you like the embrace of a beloved friend. A new sound enters the castle's nighttime symphony, the gentle tick of ice expanding in the window frames, creating delicate percussion that matches the rhythm of your own heartbeat. Each tiny crack and shift adds another note to the melody of winter settling into its perfect configuration around the ancient walls. The sound speaks of transformation, of the world reshaping itself into something even more beautiful than before. Your breathing has synchronized so completely with the castle's own rhythm that you've become part of its fundamental harmony. Each breath draws in air that has been blessed by passage through corridors where countless discoveries have been made, where generations of students have grown from children into adults. Each exhalation carries with it a portion of your own peace, contributing to the atmosphere of sanctuary that surrounds every sleeping soul within these protective walls. The house elves continue their invisible work throughout the castle, moving like beneficial spirits through passages you'll never see. adjusting temperatures and humidity levels with such precision that comfort becomes an art form. Their magic works in perfect coordination with your own body's needs, ensuring that every element of your rest remains calibrated to support the deepest possible restoration of body and spirit. Through a gap in the curtains of snow, you catch one final glimpse of the grounds transformed. The familiar landscape of Hogwarts has become something from the most beautiful dream ever conceived, where every surface gleams with captured starlight, and every shadow holds the promise of wonder. The Whomping Willow stands draped in white, its violent nature subdued by winter's gentle touch, while the lake stretches away like a mirror, reflecting not the sky above, but the dreams of everyone who has ever found peace beside its waters. A faint glow begins to emanate from the eastern windows of the castle, though dawn is still hours away. This is not sunlight, but something more subtle. The accumulated luminescence of 1,000 peaceful nights, stored within the very stones, and now released in the darkest hour to provide comfort to those who need it most. The walls themselves have become sources of gentle radiance, creating an environment where rest becomes a form of worship and sleep becomes prayer. Your consciousness drifts deeper still into that realm, where individual identity dissolves into something larger and more universal. You are no longer simply yourself resting in a window seat. You have become part of the eternal story that Hogwarts tells about sanctuary and safety, about the magic that lives in moments of perfect stillness. Your peace adds its own note to the great chord of contentment that has been building within these walls for centuries. The ancient stones beneath you pulse with their own inner warmth, each one holding memories of every student who has ever found comfort within the castle's embrace. This warmth rises through the foundations like the sap of some great tree, carrying with it the essence of every peaceful night, every moment of perfect rest, every dream that has found safe harbor within these protective walls. A final house elf materializes in the corridor, so ancient that his very presence seems to bend the air around him with accumulated wisdom. He moves with the careful grace of one who has spent lifetimes perfecting the art of comfort, each gesture weighted with centuries of devotion to the simple miracle of helping others find peace. His eyes hold the satisfaction of duty fulfilled countless times over, and his smile carries the warmth of every hearth fire that has ever burned in service to weary souls. With movements so gentle they barely disturb the air, he makes one last adjustment to your surroundings, smoothing an invisible wrinkle in the woolen throw, adjusting the angle of the book beside you by the smallest possible degree, ensuring that the steam from the warming pot reaches you at precisely the optimal angle. His touch carries with it the blessing of generations who have devoted their lives to creating perfect moments of rest for others. The snow outside has reached its ideal state of accumulation, deep enough to transform the world, but light enough to catch and hold every particle of available light. Each flake that continues to fall seems to know exactly where it belongs in the greater masterpiece of winter that surrounds the castle. The storm has become art, the weather has become poetry, and you are cradled at the center of this masterpiece of natural and magical beauty. Your final coherent thoughts dissolve like sugar in warm tea, leaving behind only the pure experience of being held safely within something far greater than yourself. The boundary between your own consciousness and the vast protective awareness of Hogwarts disappears entirely until you cannot tell where your peace ends and the castle's eternal tranquility begins. You have become part of its dreaming, your rest contributing to the great repository of comfort that has been accumulating here since the first student ever found sanctuary within these ancient walls. The last sensation you register before sleep claims you completely is the feeling of being blessed, not by any single entity or force, but by the accumulated love and dedication of everyone who has ever contributed to making Hogwarts a place of safety and learning. The founder's vision lives on in every stone. The devotion of countless teachers resonates in every corridor, and the wonder of generations of students flows through every breath of magical air. And as your consciousness fades into the deepest, most restorative sleep imaginable, the castle settles around you with a sigh of perfect satisfaction that echoes through every tower and dungeon, every classroom and common room. Hogwarts recognizes that another soul has found the peace it was built to provide. Another dreamer has discovered the sanctuary that exists for all who need it most desperately. Your breathing becomes indistinguishable from the castle's own gentle respiration. Your heartbeat synchronizes with the ancient pulse that flows through every stone and beam. You have become part of the eternal lullaby that Hogwarts sings to itself through the long winter nights, when snow falls softly and magic settles deep into every corner of its protective embrace. The snow continues its patient work outside, but within the ancient walls, all is warmth, all is safety, all is exactly as it should be when comfort and magic dance together in perfect harmony through the sacred hours before dawn touches the world with fingers of rose and gold. Your dreams merge with the dreams of the castle itself, creating a perfect unity of peace that will endure until the first light of morning begins to paint the transformed landscape in the gentle colors of a new day, born from the most beautiful night in the history of winter itself. In this deepest sanctuary of night, where time itself seems to hold its breath in reverence for the profound peace that has settled over every inch of Hogwarts, your sleeping form becomes part of something far greater than individual rest. The castle's ancient consciousness embraces your dreams with the tenderness of a guardian who has waited centuries to witness this perfect moment of harmony between soul and sanctuary. The pre-dawn hours unfold with the slow grace of honey poured from silver spoons, each minute stretching to accommodate the full depth of tranquility that flows through these hallowed corridors. The house elves move through their final rounds with steps so light they might be mistaken for whispers made manifest, their devotion to comfort having reached an almost sacred level of artistry in these quiet hours. A gentle shift in the castle's breathing signals the approach of that magical time when night begins its gradual surrender to dawn, though morning remains hours away. This is the hour when Hogwarts reveals its most intimate secrets, when the magic that flows through every stone reaches its deepest resonance with the sleeping souls it protects. Your consciousness floats in perfect suspension between dream and deeper dream, cradled by enchantments that have grown stronger with each passing century. The woolen throw around you seems to pulse with its own gentle life force, expanding and contracting in rhythm with the castle's own breathing. Its fibers have absorbed not just your body's warmth, but something more essential, the very essence of your contentment, which it now radiates back to you in waves of perfect comfort. The magic woven into its threads responds to needs you didn't even know you possessed, creating a cocoon of protection that extends far beyond mere physical warmth. Through the frost-painted windows, the snow-covered grounds have achieved a state of such pristine beauty that they seem to exist outside the normal flow of time. Each drift and curve reflects the accumulated starlight of centuries, creating a landscape that appears carved from crystallized moonbeams and captured dreams. The familiar pathways have disappeared beneath blankets of white so perfect, they seem to have been placed by invisible hands guided by an artist's vision. Professor McGonagall, still in her feline form, shifts her position on the windowsill, with fluid grace. Her green eyes reflect not just the dying torchlight, but something deeper. The accumulated wisdom of decades spent watching over students who have found exactly the peace you now experience. Her presence is both blessing and protection, a living reminder that even in sleep, you remain under the care of those who have devoted their lives to nurturing young minds and spirits. The ancient tabby's purr has synchronized with your own breathing, creating a harmony so subtle it exists more as vibration than sound. This gentle rumbling seems to emanate not just from her throat, but from the very stones of the castle itself, as if Hogwarts has learned to purr with satisfaction at the sight of another soul, finding perfect rest within its protective embrace. A new layer of magic begins to manifest in the air around you, visible only to sleeping eyes and dreaming hearts. Threads of golden light weave themselves between the torch flames and window frost, creating patterns that speak directly to the part of your consciousness that recognizes beauty beyond words. These luminous strands connect every peaceful element in your surroundings: the throw's warmth, the book's wisdom, the mug's comfort, the stone's strength, into a single web of perfect sanctuary. The house elf's steaming pot continues its quiet alchemy, transforming simple ingredients into something that smells like every lullaby ever sung, every bedtime story ever told, every gentle word ever whispered to comfort a weary soul. The steam rises in spirals that seem to carry visible contentment, dispersing through the air to bless every breath you take with the essence of profound peace. From deep within the castle's foundations comes a sound like the earth itself sighing in satisfaction. This is the voice of magic so ancient it predates human language, speaking in frequencies that resonate in your bones and synchronize your heartbeat with rhythms that have pulsed through these stones since before memory began. The sound wraps around your sleeping form like an audible embrace, promising safety that extends beyond this single night into realms of eternal protection. The portraits in the corridor have entered such deep slumber that their painted forms seem to breathe with the slow rhythm of centuries rather than moments. Their dreams leak from the frames in visible streams of silver and pearl, mixing with the castle's own dreaming consciousness to create an atmosphere so thick with peace it takes on physical weight. Even the most restless spirits among them have found perfect stillness in this sacred hour. Your own breathing has slowed to match the fundamental pulse of Hogwarts itself, each inhalation drawing in air that has been blessed by passage through corridors where countless discoveries have illuminated young minds, where friendships have been forged that will last lifetimes, where the magic of learning has transformed ordinary children into extraordinary adults. Each exhalation releases a small portion of your own contentment into the castle's atmosphere, contributing to the vast reservoir of peace that has been accumulating here for a millennium. The book beside you settles into its final configuration, its pages falling open to reveal not words, but pure emotion made visible on parchment. Contentment flows across the ancient paper like liquid starlight, while peace settles into every fibre like morning dew crystallizing into diamonds. The text has transcended language entirely, becoming a direct transmission of every peaceful moment that has ever been experienced in this exact spot. Through a gap in the swirling snow, you catch sight of the astronomy tower rising into the pre-dawn sky, like a finger pointing towards secrets written in the stars themselves. Its windows glow with soft blue light that speaks of knowledge being gathered even in these quiet hours, of mysteries being unraveled by minds that never rest in their pursuit of understanding. The tower stands as a beacon of eternal curiosity, its presence adding another layer of wonder to the magical atmosphere that surrounds your rest. A gentle chiming begins to emanate from the very walls of the castle, so subtle it might be mistaken for the whisper of wind through hidden passages. This is the sound of magic reaching its perfect equilibrium. All the various enchantments that protect and comfort the castle's inhabitants, harmonizing into a single magnificent chord of safety and peace. The sound builds slowly, not growing louder, but deeper, more resonant, until it seems to vibrate in harmony with your own heartbeat. The mug in your hands has achieved a state of perfect temperature equilibrium, requiring no conscious attention or adjustment. It has become an extension of your own being, as natural and unconsidered as your own pulse. The porcelain seems to exist in that ideal space between warm and cool, providing comfort without demanding awareness, giving without asking for anything in return. A final house elf appears in the corridor. This one so ancient that his very presence seems to bend time itself around his small form. His movements carry the weight of centuries spent in perfect service, each gesture informed by countless nights of ensuring that weary souls find exactly the rest they need most. His eyes hold the deep satisfaction of one whose life's work has achieved a kind of perfection that transcends ordinary accomplishment. With infinite care and wisdom accumulated over lifetimes of devotion, he makes one last adjustment to your perfect sanctuary. His touch carries the blessing of every house elf who has ever served at Hogwarts. Every act of kindness performed in the shadows. Every moment of care given freely and without expectation of recognition. As he fades back into the gentle darkness, his presence leaves behind a sense of being watched over by forces of pure benevolence. The snow outside reaches its ideal depth, creating a world so beautiful it seems to have stepped out of the most perfect fairy tale ever imagined. Each flake that continues to fall knows exactly where it belongs in the greater masterpiece of winter that surrounds the castle. The storm has become living art, transforming the familiar grounds into something that exists at the intersection of reality and dream. Your consciousness drifts deeper into that sacred space where individual identity dissolves into universal peace. You are no longer simply a person resting in a window seat. You have become part of the eternal story that Hogwarts tells about the magic of finding perfect sanctuary. Your peace adds its own note to the great symphony of contentment that has been building within these walls since the first student ever discovered that true magic lives not just in spells and potions, but in moments of absolute stillness. The ancient stones beneath you pulse with warmth that speaks of every peaceful night that has ever graced these halls. Every moment when a weary traveller has found exactly the comfort they needed most desperately. This warmth rises through the castle's bones like the life force of some great, benevolent tree, carrying with it the essence of every dream that has ever found safe harbour within these protective walls. A profound stillness settles over the entire castle now, deeper than mere silence, more complete than simple quiet. This is the peace that comes when magic itself pauses to acknowledge something sacred happening within its domain. Every enchantment, every spell, every charm that protects and maintains Hogwarts holds its breath in reverence for the perfect moment of rest you have achieved. The woolen throw expands one final time, growing to encompass not just your physical form, but the very essence of your being. Its warmth becomes indistinguishable from your own life force, creating a unity so complete that the boundary between comfort and self disappears entirely. The fabric breathes with your breathing, dreams with your dreaming, exists in perfect harmony with your state of absolute peace. Through the frost-painted windows, the world beyond Hogwarts has ceased to exist in any meaningful way. There is only the castle now, only this moment, only the profound tranquility that comes from finding yourself cradled within walls that have protected dreamers for longer than human memory can reach. The snow continues its patient artistry, but within these ancient stones, all is warmth, all is safety, all is exactly as it should be. Your final coherent thoughts dissolve like snowflakes on warm stone, leaving behind only the pure experience of being held safely within something infinitely greater than yourself. The distinction between your own consciousness and the vast protective awareness of Hogwarts fades completely until you become part of the castle's own eternal dreaming, your rest contributing to the great repository of peace that will endure long after the last star fades from the morning sky. And as your breathing becomes one with the gentle respiration of the castle itself, as your heartbeat synchronizes with the ancient pulse that flows through every stone and beam, you join the timeless lullaby that Hogwarts sings to itself through the sacred hours, when snow falls softly and magic settles deep into every corner of its loving embrace, ensuring that all who seek sanctuary within its walls find not just rest, but the deepest peace that exists when comfort and wonder dance together in perfect eternal harmony. The first whisper of dawn begins to touch the edges of the world beyond your windows, not yet ready to disturb the profound peace that has settled over Hogwarts like the softest blanket ever woven. This is that sacred hour when night holds its breath before surrendering to morning, when the castle exists in perfect suspension between dreams and the gentle promise of a new day painted in shades of pearl and rose. Your consciousness floats in the deepest currents of rest, where thoughts move like clouds drifting across a summer sky, purposeless, beautiful, completely free from the weight of ordinary concerns. The boundary between sleeping and dreaming has become meaningless here, in this alcove where comfort has transcended the physical realm to become something closer to prayer, where peace has taken on the substance of magic itself. The house elf who left the steaming pot has returned once more, moving through the pre-dawn shadows with the fluid grace of one who has mastered the art of bringing comfort without disturbance. His presence is felt rather than seen, a warm influence that adjusts the very atmosphere around you with such subtle precision that perfection seems effortless. The pot continues its gentle alchemy, releasing wisps of something that carries the essence of every peaceful morning that has ever dawned over these ancient grounds. Through the frost-painted glass, you can observe how the approaching dawn has begun to work its own magic on the snow-covered landscape. The accumulated white reflects colors that don't yet exist in the sky, hints of gold and amber that speak of the sun still sleeping somewhere beyond the horizon. Each drift and mound glows with inner light, as if the snow itself has absorbed the dreams of everyone resting safely within the castle's protective walls. Professor McGonagall stretches gracefully on her windowsill perch, her feline form displaying the perfect contentment that comes from watching over those in her care. Her green eyes catch the first whispers of dawn light, reflecting not just the changing sky, but something deeper, the accumulated satisfaction of countless nights spent ensuring that every student under her protection finds exactly the peace they need most. Her purr has become part of the castle's own breathing, a gentle vibration that flows through stone and timber to bless every sleeping soul. The ancient tabby shifts her position slightly, settling deeper into the curve of the windowsill, as if she intends to maintain her vigil until the very last moment of your rest has been perfectly protected. Her presence is both guardian and blessing, a living reminder that even the most formidable protectors of Hogwarts understand that true strength sometimes lies in the simple act of watching over those who dream. A new sound enters the castle's pre-dawn symphony, the gentle expansion of warming stones as they prepare to welcome the approaching day. Each ancient block adjusts its position with movements so subtle they register more as vibration than sound, creating a percussion section that matches the rhythm of your own peaceful breathing. The walls themselves seem to stretch and settle like a great creature waking slowly from the most contented sleep. The woolen throw continues its miraculous adaptation to your needs, somehow anticipating the subtle changes in your body temperature as dawn approaches. Its fibers seem to possess their own gentle intelligence, loosening slightly as warmth begins to build in the eastern windows, tightening protectively when cool drafts whisper through hidden passages. The magic woven into its very threads responds not to conscious commands, but to the deeper wisdom of your resting form. From somewhere deep within the castle's foundations comes a sound like the earth itself, humming with satisfaction. This is the voice of magic so ancient it remembers when these stones were first laid, when the founder's vision took its first breath of life in this protected valley. The sound wraps around your sleeping consciousness like an audible embrace, promising continuity that extends far beyond this single night into realms of eternal sanctuary. The portraits in the corridor have entered that deepest phase of painted slumber, where their dreams become visible, leaking from their frames in streams of silver and pearl that mix with the pre-dawn air to create an atmosphere thick with centuries of accumulated contentment. Even the most restless among them have found perfect stillness, their painted faces relaxed in expressions of such peace that they seem to glow with inner light. Your breathing has synchronized so completely with the castle's own rhythm that you've become part of its fundamental harmony. Each inhalation draws in air that has been blessed by passage through corridors where knowledge has been shared for a millennium, where discoveries have illuminated young minds, and friendships have been forged that will last lifetimes. Each gentle exhalation adds your own contentment to the vast reservoir of peace that flows through these halls like an underground river of tranquility. The book beside you settles into its final revelation, pages falling open to display not words, but pure emotion made manifest on ancient parchment. Peace flows across the paper like liquid moonlight, while contentment crystallizes in the margins like frost forming intricate patterns on glass. The text has transcended language entirely, becoming a direct transmission of every restful moment that has ever blessed this particular spot in the castle's embrace. Through a gap in the gently falling snow, you catch sight of the lake stretching away toward the lightening horizon. Its frozen surface has become a mirror for something deeper than sky, reflecting the accumulated dreams of everyone who has ever gazed upon its waters and found solace. The ice holds these visions like captured starlight, creating a repository of serenity that adds its own influence to the magical atmosphere surrounding your perfect rest. A subtle shift in the castle's magical resonance signals the approach of that mystical moment when night begins its graceful transition toward day. This is not yet dawn, but rather the gentle preparation for dawn, the universe gathering itself for another daily miracle of light conquering darkness. The magic of Hogwarts responds to this cosmic rhythm with its own adjustments, ensuring that your rest remains undisturbed through this delicate transformation. The house elf's presence makes itself known once more through the subtle improvement of every element in your sanctuary. The temperature adjusts by fractions of degrees, the humidity balances to perfection, and even the quality of silence somehow deepens and enriches around your peaceful form. His devotion to comfort has reached an almost sacred level of artistry, where every tiny modification serves the greater purpose of ensuring your absolute tranquility. A new layer of enchantment begins to manifest in the pre-dawn air, visible only to consciousness that exists in that liminal space between sleeping and dreaming. Threads of golden light weave themselves between the dying torches and the first whispers of dawn, creating patterns that speak directly to the part of your soul that recognizes beauty beyond ordinary perception. These luminous strands connect every peaceful element in your surroundings into a single web of perfect sanctuary. The mug in your hands has achieved that ideal state where its presence requires no awareness, no conscious attention. It exists in perfect harmony with your body's own temperature, becoming an extension of your being rather than a separate object requiring consideration. The porcelain seems to pulse gently with its own life force, matching the rhythm of your heartbeat and breathing in a symphony of perfect comfort. Through the frost-painted windows, the astronomy tower rises into the gradually lightening sky like a beacon of eternal curiosity. Its windows continue to glow with soft blue light that speaks of mysteries being contemplated even in these quiet hours, of knowledge being gathered by minds that never cease their pursuit of understanding. The tower stands as a reminder that wonder and learning continue their work even when the world appears to sleep. A gentle warmth begins to emanate from the eastern walls of the castle. Not yet the heat of sunlight, but something more subtle. The accumulated luminescence of 1,000 dawns, stored within the stones, and now released gradually to ease the transition from night's embrace to day's gentle awakening. The walls themselves have become sources of comfort, radiating not just warmth, but the essence of hope that comes with each new beginning. Your consciousness drifts deeper into that sacred realm where individual identity dissolves into something universal and eternal. You are no longer simply a person finding rest in a window seat. You have become part of the timeless story that Hogwarts tells about the magic of perfect sanctuary. Your peace adds its own note to the great symphony of contentment that has been building within these walls since the first student ever discovered that true magic lives in moments of absolute stillness. The ancient stones beneath you continue their gentle work, each one holding memories of every peaceful dawn that has ever broken over these grounds. Every moment when weary souls have found exactly the comfort they needed most desperately. This warmth rises through the castle's foundations, like the life force of some great, benevolent entity, carrying with it the essence of every dream that has ever found safe harbor within these protective walls. A profound stillness settles over the entire castle now, deeper than silence, more complete than quiet. This is the peace that comes when magic itself pauses to acknowledge something sacred happening within its domain. Every enchantment that protects and nurtures Hogwarts holds its breath in reverence for the perfect moment of rest you continue to inhabit, your tranquility becoming part of the castle's own eternal dreaming. The woolen throw expands once more around your form, growing to encompass not just your physical presence, but the very essence of your peaceful state. Its warmth becomes indistinguishable from your own life force, creating a unity so complete that the boundary between comfort and self disappears entirely. The fabric breathes with your breathing, dreams with your dreaming, exists in perfect synchronization with your absolute peace. A house elf materializes briefly in the corridor, so ancient that time itself seems to bend around his small figure with respect. His movements carry the accumulated wisdom of centuries spent in devoted service, each gesture informed by countless dawns witnessed from these very halls. His eyes hold the deep satisfaction of one whose life's work has achieved a perfection that transcends ordinary accomplishment, and his presence blesses the air around your resting form with the essence of pure dedication. With infinite care born of lifetimes spent perfecting the art of comfort, he makes one final, nearly imperceptible adjustment to your sanctuary. His touch carries the blessing of every act of kindness ever performed within these walls, Every moment of care given freely and without expectation of recognition. As he fades back into the gentle shadows, his influence lingers like a benediction, ensuring that your rest will remain undisturbed until the very moment you choose to wake. The snow outside has reached its perfect accumulation, creating a world so beautiful it seems to exist at the intersection of reality and the most wonderful dream ever conceived. Each flake that continues to fall moves with deliberate grace, as if guided by invisible hands that know exactly where it belongs in the greater masterpiece of winter surrounding the castle. The storm has become living poetry, transforming familiar landscapes into something that speaks directly to the soul. Through the gradually clearing sky, the first stars of pre-dawn begin to fade, not disappearing, but rather blending their light with the approaching day in a cosmic dance that has repeated itself for millennia. They seem to pulse in rhythm with your own heartbeat, as if the universe itself has learned to synchronize with the perfect peace you've discovered within these ancient walls. Your final, coherent awareness dissolves like morning mist, touched by sunlight, leaving behind only the pure experience of being held safely within something infinitely greater and more enduring than individual consciousness. The distinction between your own peace and the vast protective awareness of Hogwarts fades completely until you become part of the castle's eternal story of sanctuary and safety, your rest contributing to the great repository of tranquility that will endure long after the last snowflake melts in spring's eventual embrace. And as your breathing becomes one with the gentle respiration of the castle itself, as your heartbeat synchronizes with the ancient pulse that flows through every stone and beam, you join the timeless lullaby that Hogwarts sings to itself through the sacred hours when night surrenders to dawn, when snow continues its patient artistry, and when magic settles so deep into every corner of its loving embrace that peace itself becomes indistinguishable from the very air that sustains all life within these blessed walls. The pre-dawn hours stretch on in perfect suspension, each moment expanding to contain the full depth of tranquility that has settled over every corridor and chamber of the castle. Time moves like honey here, thick with the accumulated peace of centuries, flowing around your resting form with such gentleness that you exist in a realm where past and present and future converge into a single eternal moment of perfect sanctuary. In this deepest sanctuary of night becoming day, where even the ghosts have found their quietest corners for contemplation, your sleeping consciousness becomes part of something far greater than individual rest, becoming part of the very heartbeat of Hogwarts itself, adding your own note of perfect peace to the endless lullaby that flows through these ancient stones, like the circulation of some great, benevolent heart that beats with love for all who find their way home to its protective embrace. The snow continues its eternal dance outside the windows, each flake now carrying with it something more than mere frozen water. They seem to hold fragments of dreams themselves, crystallized moments of peace that have accumulated in the castle's atmosphere over countless winter nights. Your consciousness drifts in currents so gentle they feel like being cradled in the softest silk, where even the concept of wakefulness has become as distant as summer thunder. A new presence stirs in the depths of the castle, not the house elves with their devoted ministrations, nor the watchful professors in their various forms, but something older still. The castle's own awareness seems to gather itself around your peaceful form, recognizing in your deep rest an echo of its own eternal patience. Hogwarts has waited through centuries of storms and seasons, and in your tranquil breathing, it hears the rhythm it has been keeping all along. The warmth from the stones beneath you begins to tell stories in a language older than words. Each pulse of heat carries memories of other winter nights when students have found this exact sanctuary, when weary souls have discovered that sometimes the greatest magic lies not in grand spells or dramatic adventures, but in the simple miracle of finding yourself exactly where you belong when the world grows quiet around you. Through the frost-painted glass, you can observe how the snow has begun to interact with the castle's ancient magic in ways that defy ordinary understanding. Where warming charms have been cast on windowsills and door frames, the snow doesn't simply melt, it transforms, becoming something that resembles liquid starlight, flowing in delicate rivulets that seem to carry their own gentle luminescence. These streams of transformed snow create temporary artwork on every surface they touch, patterns that speak of winter's collaboration with centuries of accumulated enchantment. The house elf's steaming pot releases another tendril of that indescribable aroma, and this time you can almost taste the essence of what it contains. There's the comfort of every warm hearth that has ever burned in these halls, the sweetness of every kind word spoken in moments of need, the richness of every friendship forged within these protective walls. The steam carries with it the very soul of sanctuary, dispersing through the air to bless each breath you take with the accumulated kindness of ages. Professor McGonagall shifts once more on her windowsill perch, her feline form stretching with that perfect grace that speaks of absolute contentment. In the growing light, you can see that her green eyes reflect not just the changing world outside, but something deeper, the profound satisfaction that comes from witnessing another soul find the peace that Hogwarts was built to provide. Her presence is both blessing and promise, a living assurance that your rest is guarded by forces that understand the sacred nature of perfect tranquility. A gentle vibration begins to emanate from the very foundations of the castle, so subtle it registers more as a feeling than a sound. This is the resonance of magic reaching its most harmonious frequency. All the various enchantments that protect and nurture the school's inhabitants, finding perfect synchronization with your own peaceful breathing. The sensation rises through the floors and walls like a tide of pure comfort, ensuring that every element of your surroundings contributes to the deepening of your rest. The woolen throw continues its miraculous adaptation, and you begin to understand that it's not merely responding to your physical needs, but to something far more profound. The fabric seems to recognize the rhythm of your dreams, adjusting its embrace to complement whatever peaceful visions drift through your sleeping mind. When your consciousness wanders to memories of summer afternoons, the throw loosens to allow the gentle circulation of air that carries the phantom scent of distant flowers. When your thoughts turn to cozy winter evenings by familiar fireplaces, it draws closer, creating the perfect cocoon of warmth and security. From somewhere deep within the castle comes a new sound, not the settling of stones or the whisper of wind through passages, but something that might be described as the castle's own version of a contented sigh. It's as if Hogwarts itself is settling deeper into its own state of peaceful rest, synchronized with your breathing, finding in your tranquility a reflection of its own eternal calm. The portraits in the corridor have entered their deepest phase of slumber, and their dreams now leak from the frames in visible streams of silver and pearl that seem to dance in the air before dissipating into the general atmosphere of peace. These dream streams carry with them fragments of every restful night the painted figures have witnessed, every moment of perfect stillness they've observed from their privileged positions on the walls. The accumulated serenity of centuries flows around you like the gentlest current. Through a gap in the swirling snow, the distant mountains become visible, their peaks touched with the faintest hint of approaching dawn. They stand like ancient sentinels around the valley that cradles Hogwarts, their snow-covered slopes reflecting a light that doesn't yet exist in the sky. These mountains have watched over the castle since its founding, silent guardians that have witnessed the rise and fall of countless winters, the coming and going of generations of students who found within these walls exactly what you've discovered. Perfect sanctuary when the world grows still. Your breathing has achieved such perfect synchronization with the castle's own rhythm that the boundary between your life force and Hogwarts' ancient vitality continues to blur. Each inhalation draws in air that has been blessed by passage through corridors where the greatest minds have pondered the mysteries of magic, where the most devoted hearts have learned to channel wonder into wisdom. Each exhalation releases a portion of your own contentment into the castle's atmosphere, adding to the vast reservoir of peace that sustains every soul who seeks refuge within these walls. The book beside you reveals its final secret as the pages settle open to display what appears to be a mirror made of parchment, a surface that reflects not your physical form, but the essence of your peaceful state. In this magical mirror, you can see yourself as Hogwarts sees you, not as a visitor or guest, but as someone who has always belonged here, someone who has finally found their way home to a place that has been waiting patiently for their arrival since before time began. A house elf materializes in the corridor with movements so fluid they seem more like condensing mist than physical locomotion. This one carries something different, not food or drink or additional comfort items, but what appears to be a small crystal that pulses with gentle light. As he approaches your alcove, the crystal's radiance grows warmer, and you understand that this is not illumination in any ordinary sense, but crystallized peace itself, harvested from moments exactly like this one, and preserved to enhance future sanctuaries. The ancient creature places the crystal on the windowsill, where its light can mingle with the reflected glow from the snow-covered grounds. The effect is immediate and profound. The air around you seems to thicken with tranquility, becoming something you can almost touch, something that wraps around your resting form like the embrace of everyone who has ever loved you. The crystal hums with a frequency that matches your heartbeat, creating a harmony so perfect it seems to extend beyond sound into realms of pure emotion. Through the frost-painted windows, you can see that the snow has begun to fall in new patterns, each flake following paths that seem choreographed by some benevolent intelligence. They spiral and dance through the air with such grace that watching their descent becomes a form of meditation, a visual lullaby that encourages the deepest possible rest. The accumulated snow on the grounds has begun to glow with its own inner light, as if each crystal has absorbed a portion of the castle's magic and now radiates it back into the winter night. The mug in your hands has transcended its original purpose entirely, becoming something closer to a talisman than a mere vessel. Its porcelain surface seems to pulse gently with life, matching the rhythm of your heartbeat so perfectly that you can no longer distinguish where your own warmth ends and the cup's begins. The last traces of chocolate flavor have evolved into something that tastes like liquid comfort itself, sweet with the essence of every peaceful moment that has ever blessed these halls. A profound shift occurs in the castle's magical resonance as the pre-dawn hours reach their deepest point. Every enchantment that protects and nurtures Hogwarts seems to pause in recognition of the perfect peace you've achieved, as if your tranquility has become a tuning fork that helps all the various magics find their most harmonious frequency. The very air shimmers with this synchronization, creating an atmosphere where rest becomes indistinguishable from prayer, where sleep transforms into a form of communion with something far greater than individual consciousness. Your final coherent thoughts dissolve like snowflakes on warm stone, leaving behind only the pure experience of existing in perfect harmony with forces that have shaped this place for 1,000 years. The distinction between your own peace and the vast, protective awareness of Hogwarts disappears entirely until you become part of the castle's eternal story of sanctuary and safety, your rest contributing to the great repository of tranquility that will endure long after the last star fades from the brightening sky. In this deepest sanctuary of the night's final hours, where time itself seems to hold its breath in reverence for the sacred peace that has settled over every stone and timber, your sleeping form becomes part of something far greater than individual rest. You join the endless lullaby that Hogwarts sings to itself through the sacred hours when snow falls softly and magic settles deep into every corner of its loving embrace, ensuring that all who seek sanctuary find not just rest, but the profound peace that comes when comfort and wonder dance together in perfect eternal harmony. The house elf who placed the crystal returns once more, moving through the pre-dawn shadows with reverence that speaks of countless years spent witnessing moments exactly like this one. His presence is felt as a warm influence that makes final adjustments to the perfect sanctuary surrounding you, smoothing an invisible wrinkle in the fabric of peace itself, ensuring that every element of your rest achieves its most ideal configuration. His work complete, he fades back into the gentle darkness, leaving behind the blessing of absolute devotion to the art of creating perfect comfort. As the deepest part of night begins its gradual surrender to the approaching dawn, still hours away but already touching the edges of the world with the faintest promise of light, your consciousness settles into its most profound state of rest. The woolen throw expands one final time around your peaceful form, growing to encompass not just your physical presence, but the very essence of your tranquil state, creating a cocoon of perfect comfort that exists as much in the realm of dreams as in the waking world. And in this perfect moment, suspended between the deepest night and the distant promise of morning, you become part of the eternal story that Hogwarts tells about the magic of finding sanctuary when the world grows still. Your peace adds its own irreplaceable note to the great symphony of contentment that flows through these ancient stones, ensuring that your rest will be remembered by the castle itself, woven into the very fabric of its protective embrace to comfort future souls who find their way to this perfect alcove when they need sanctuary most. The snow continues its patient artistry outside, but within these blessed walls, all is warmth. All is safety. All is exactly as it should be when magic and comfort unite in service of the deepest possible peace, creating a sanctuary where dreams and reality merge into something more beautiful than either could achieve alone. The first whisper of true dawn begins to paint the eastern sky in shades so pale they seem more like wishes than actual color, touching the snow-covered spires of Hogwarts with light that carries within it the promise of a new day born from the most perfect night imaginable. Yet even as this gentle transformation begins somewhere beyond the horizon, your consciousness remains cradled in depths of peace so profound that the approaching morning feels not like an ending, but like another verse in the eternal lullaby that flows through these ancient stones. The house elves have completed their final rounds now, their devoted work settling into that perfect stillness that comes when every possible comfort has been provided, every detail attended to with the kind of care that transforms ordinary service into something approaching the sacred. Their presence lingers in the very air you breathe, invisible hands that continue to adjust temperature and atmosphere with such subtle precision that perfection seems effortless, natural, as inevitable as the turning of seasons. Through the frost-painted windows, you can observe how the pre-dawn light has begun to interact with the accumulated snow in ways that seem to transcend ordinary physics. Each crystal surface catches and holds the faint illumination, transforming it into something richer, warmer, more alive. The familiar grounds of Hogwarts have become a landscape of living light, where every drift and mound pulses with gentle radiance that speaks of magic so deeply woven into the very fabric of this place that even nature itself becomes enchanted by proximity to such concentrated wonder. The woolen throw around you has achieved its final evolution, becoming something that exists as much in the realm of dreams as in physical reality. Its fibers seem to have absorbed not just your body's warmth, but the very essence of every peaceful moment you've experienced within these walls, creating a fabric that radiates comfort on levels that transcend the merely physical. The blanket breathes with your breathing, dreams with your dreaming, existing in such perfect harmony with your state of rest that the boundary between comfort and consciousness dissolves entirely. Professor McGonagall stretches once more on her windowsill perch, her feline form displaying that absolute contentment that comes from witnessing the completion of a perfect circle. In her green eyes, you can see reflected not just the gradually brightening world outside, but something deeper. The profound satisfaction of a guardian whose vigil has been rewarded with the sight of complete peace. Her purr has become part of the castle's fundamental rhythm, a gentle vibration that flows through stone and timber to bless every corner where tranquility dwells. A new sound enters the pre-dawn symphony, so subtle it registers more as feeling than hearing, the gentle hum of magic reaching its most perfect resonance. Every enchantment that protects and nurtures Hogwarts has found its ideal frequency, creating a harmony that seems to emanate from the very foundations of the castle and rise through every floor and wall until the entire structure vibrates with contentment. This is the sound of sanctuary, achieving its truest purpose. The music that plays when safety and wonder unite in perfect accord. The ancient stones beneath you pulse with warmth that tells the story of every dawn that has ever broken over these grounds. Every moment when the transition from night to day has been witnessed by souls finding exactly the peace you now inhabit. This warmth rises through the castle's bones like the circulation of some vast, benevolent heart, carrying with it the accumulated blessings of 1,000 years of students who have discovered that the greatest magic often lies not in grand adventures, but in moments of absolute stillness. From deep within the castle's foundations comes what can only be described as a sigh of perfect satisfaction, as if Hogwarts itself recognizes that its purpose has been fulfilled once again. The sound carries with it the weight of centuries, the accumulated contentment of every soul who has found sanctuary within these protective walls. Your own peace has become part of this great repository of tranquility, adding another note to the endless symphony of comfort that defines this place. The house elf's crystal continues its gentle work, pulsing with light that seems to emanate from crystallized moments of pure peace. Its radiance mingles with the reflected glow from the snow-covered grounds, creating patterns of illumination that dance across the corridor walls like visible blessings. The crystal hums in harmony with your heartbeat, its frequency perfectly calibrated to enhance the depth of your rest without disturbing the profound stillness you've achieved. Through the gradually clearing sky, you can make out the first hints of color beginning to touch the eastern horizon. Not yet true sunrise, but the gentle preparation that speaks of light gathering itself for another daily miracle. The stars that have watched over your peaceful night begin their gradual fade, not disappearing, but blending their ancient light with the approaching day in a cosmic dance that has repeated itself since time began. The book beside you settles into its final configuration, pages falling open to reveal what appears to be a window made of parchment, a magical aperture that shows not the world outside, but the view from within perfect peace itself. Through this impossible window, you can see yourself as the castle sees you, not as a visitor finding temporary rest, but as someone who has always belonged here. Someone whose presence completes a pattern that has been waiting patiently for centuries to achieve its full expression. Your breathing has synchronized so completely with Hogwarts' own rhythm that you've become part of the castle's living essence, each inhalation and exhalation contributing to the great respiration that sustains all life within these blessed walls. The air you breathe carries with it the accumulated wisdom of ages, the essence of every discovery made within these corridors, every friendship forged in these halls, every moment when young minds have expanded to embrace the infinite possibilities that magic represents. A profound transformation begins to occur in the quality of silence surrounding you. This is no longer mere absence of sound, but something richer, deeper, the kind of quiet that comes when the universe itself pauses to acknowledge something sacred happening within its embrace. Every enchantment, every protective spell, every charm that maintains the castle's sanctuary holds its breath in reverence for the perfect peace you continue to inhabit. The mug in your hands has transcended its physical nature entirely, becoming a talisman of comfort that exists in perfect harmony with your own life force. Its porcelain surface pulses gently with warmth that matches your heartbeat so precisely that distinguishing between your own vitality and the cup's magical essence becomes impossible. The vessel has become an extension of your being, as natural and unconsidered as your own breath. Through the snow-touched windows, the astronomy tower rises into the gradually brightening sky, like a finger pointing toward mysteries that reveal themselves only to patient observers. Its windows continue to glow with that distinctive blue light that speaks of knowledge being gathered even in these quiet hours, of minds that never cease their pursuit of understanding. The tower stands as a beacon of eternal curiosity, its presence adding another layer of wonder to the magical atmosphere that surrounds your perfect rest. A gentle warmth begins to radiate from the eastern walls of the castle, not yet the heat of direct sunlight, but something more subtle and profound, the accumulated luminescence of countless dawns stored within the ancient stones and now released gradually to ease the transition from night's embrace to day's gentle awakening. These walls have become repositories of hope itself, radiating the essence of every new beginning they have witnessed over the centuries. The portraits in the corridor have entered such deep slumber that their painted forms seem to exist in a realm beyond ordinary dreams. Their rest leaks from the frames in streams of silver and pearl that dance through the air before settling into the general atmosphere of peace, carrying with them the accumulated serenity of ages. Even the most restless spirits among them have found perfect stillness in this sacred hour, their contentment adding to the vast reservoir of tranquility that flows through every stone and timber. And so we reach the end of our gentle journey through Hogwarts on this most magical of winter evenings. As your consciousness drifts in those deepest currents of peace, surrounded by ancient stones that have sheltered dreamers for 1,000 years, you've become part of something eternal, woven into the very fabric of sanctuary that flows through these blessed walls. The snow continues its patient artistry outside, each flake carrying with it the promise of perfect rest, while within these protective corridors, All remains exactly as it should be when magic and comfort dance together in perfect harmony. Sleep well, dear dreamer, knowing that Hogwarts will watch over your dreams until morning paints the transformed world in gentle shades of gold.